we are looking at Excel, and to be specific, we're going to be looking at functions. I hope you guys are doing well. So right now, I just want to open a blank Excel spreadsheet so that we can do something under the functions. Yeah. It's loading. So you will be able to see it once it's open on my screen. Yeah, so we are looking at functions, and like I said, we are going to be looking at the tab called formulas. So we have to come here if we are looking at formulas and functions. To be specific, those are, so let me just get there and say that here is the library. We call this library of different functions, different functions that we can use. We call this the formula library. Yeah, so today I want us to be specific and look at the formulas, and to be specific, I want us to look at the insert function. Yeah, but before I talk about the insert function, I want to just explain a little bit more about the functions that you're seeing here. So we have the AutoSum function, which is an inbuilt formula that Excel exposes us to. So under the AutoSum, we have the sum, we have the average, we have the count numbers, we have the max, and we even have more, which you can explore at your own time. Under the recently used, we have those that we have just used. Yeah, those that we have used. For example, if you've used the formulas that you recently used on your computer, then under the financial, we have the financial formulas that are inbuilt in Excel. To those that have accounts and to those that know more about formulas, that is where you find yourself. You find yourself under the formulas, and you go to be specific, you go to the tab that tells you, the tab that is called, or the function that is called finance or financial, where you find more of the financial part of Excel. Then we also have this part, the logical. So this is a logical function where we have the false, the if, the error if, and many other. We have the text, the date and time. Apart from that, we have lookup and reference. For example, we are playing and analyzing data. This is where we come to lookup, we match, we transpose, we loop up, so many things. We look for a value, we choose area, address, we come on the lookup and reference. That's where we find all those things. Then if you remember very well, we've done a lot of trig and math. You come here, you find quite a number of functions that are inbuilt in Excel that are under trig and math that you can use at your own time, or even at work, or depending on what you have been told to do in that particular moment. You can find the sum, you can sum if, which is a condition, and many other. Yeah, apart from that, we even have more functions. We have statistical functions, engineering, we have the cube, the information, compatibility, and the web. So all these are just examples that are found in the formula library, which we find under the formula library in Excel, which they are called inbuilt functions. So today, to be specific, like I said, I want us to insert a function. I want us to insert a function and see how we can use a function that we insert. So let me just right click on the insert function and see what comes out. So after right clicking, I hope you're able to see, after right clicking, I hope you're able to see we have we have this dialog box that has popped up. I hope you're able to see it even from your end. We have this dialog box. So once you click insert function, you have a dialog box. Then that dialog box, it has got insert function. Then it has got search for a function. So there is a small box where you have to type a brief description of what you want to do, and then you click go. So for example, you want to sum, you want to subtract, you want to do whatsoever that which you want to do, you come there, you backspace, or you just write the word, for example, sum, and then you say go, like the instruction, and then sum will be able to, it will be able to pop up. Let's just give it some time. I don't know why it's taking time to load, but yeah, we'll be able to see the function sum after looking for it under Excel. So when you come down here in the same dialog box, we have the select a function. So we have a part that is written select a function. So what you do is, once you search for the function that you want to use, for example, sum, you go, and then it will pop up. Then what they mean by select, you just right click, because it will be highlighted in blue. Once you right click by clicking OK, then from there you can move on. Yeah, so I was just trying to show you when we're looking at sum what really happens. So I will enter a few data that will have girls and boys, or maybe just names of people and their marks. Then we can see how we can play around with those marks. So just follow me nicely as I am entering these numbers. I'll close this, then we can use it properly once I write the numbers. So don't be confused. These numbers are just coming from my head. They're not numbers that mean anything. So I want these numbers to have titles. So I will have the first one. The first one, I will call it girls. And the second one, I can call it boys. Boys. Girls, boys, and then here I can have marks. I can have in class. I can have marks, and I can also have here we can have girls, boys, marks, and then here we can have percentage, right? Percentage, percent, maybe percent, something like that. And then let's just figure out some numbers that we can just put in there. So these are girls, these are boys, marks, and percentage. So under the girls, we're going to have girls' names like Mary. We're going to have Vasti. We're going to have Salia. We're going to have Florence. We're going to have Chichi Kondi. We can have Chikondi. Something like that. Yeah, these are the names of girls, and then the names of boys. Girls, we have those names. Then for boys, we can have Peter. We can have Peter. We can have Paul. Oh, yeah. We can have Peter. We can have Paul. Paul. We can have Sam. We can have John. We can have who else can we have? We can even have Jack. Then we can have their marks in here, which we can say so we have Mary, Peter, Vasti, Salia, Florence, Chikondi. And then we can have their marks here, which is well, I'm trying to wonder how I'm going to do this. So to make this look a little bit better, I will just backspace, and just have something that I can just easily or fast forward. So I'll just write the names. I'll say girls, and then I'll have their marks. I'll say girls over here, and then, or I'll just say students. Instead of girls, I'll say students. And then I'll say the marks in English. So these marks won't be here. Let me just do that. And then I'll say students. I'll say students. I'll say students. And then I can just have the boys down here, which is I can have the John, I can have the Peter, I can have the Jack, I can have even the Sam, something like that. These are students all together. Then here we're going to have English, students, English, which is the subjects. So we're going to have English in here. We're going to have English. And then here we're going to have math. And here we're going to have science or ICT. Let me put it in caps. ICT, something like that. Then these are going to be their marks. So in English, math, so Mary got a 50, a 58 here, a 55, and she got a 90. Then Vasti got a 70, she got a 90, she got a 90, and she got a 75, maybe a 67, something like that. Then we have this one who got 80 here, a 50, and also a 56. We can also have 89. We can also have 76. We can also have 67. Then we can have, so these numbers, I'm just creating them. You might be wondering, thinking they were somewhere. No, I'm just writing them and finding them right now. I'm just finding them right now. And then we can also have 54. We can also have 63, and we can have a 88, and then we can have a 34 for Peter. Then he got a 75. Then we can say 90. We can also have a 72. We can have a 59, and then we can also have an 86, something like that. And finally we can have a 49. Then we can have a 92, and we can have finally a 45, something like that. So these are the numbers that we've just entered. We've just made these numbers. So students, English. So we can have something like subjects over here. Subjects, and then, yeah. to just make it look a little bit better. So like I taught you already, subjects, I taught you what to do when it comes to writing. And have subjects over there, then we can just highlight it. We can highlight subject itself, and then after highlighting subjects, we can just come to tab. We can come to tab, and then we can try to merge and center it somewhere. Yeah. Okay, something like that. And then we can also put school results somewhere here. We can say school results subject. So these are school results. We say school results. We can just highlight that and just come to the home tab again. You come under the home tab, you say merge and center, school results, something like that. And then you try and drag this to somewhere the middle. Want to come and drag it somewhere in the middle. What's going to happen? I hope you are loud and clear. Yeah. So we have the subjects, we have the students, we have the school results. So what I want to do now is just bring the school results here. I want us to come here and again try and do something about the school. I'll try and make some color, make it look a bit better. Something like that is okay. From that, let's just try let me just try to do that. And see. Well, I've lost the numbers. I really don't I don't know why it keeps on taking time to load, and then the numbers also. Okay. So I will just start with the school results. School results somewhere there. Then I can just highlight it. Advance, something like that. And then I can even measure and center it there, and then Okay, let's see how it goes. So school results, and then we can have the names here. That's the names, and then we can have subjects here. Subjects here, and then we can have something different here. We can have subjects, and then here we can have names, subjects. And then for the subjects, we can try and also measure it on the center so that like that, and then we can insert something different here, subjects. So we can come and insert a row like that. And then we can grab off this part over there. Our school result also, we can just clear them. So that we can just have it look a little bit better. Where we can come there. Then we can have names, and then we can have, since we're saying, we can start saying, we can English. English, we can say math. We can say English, we can say math, and we can say ICT. The names of subjects, and then we can just say on top here, amazing, excellent school results. Amnet. 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 School results. Amnet school results. Just from where it is, we can just make sure that we just center it nicely. Like that, and then we can come to our home tab, and try to make it bold, make it look something different like that, and also give it a bit of some color like that. Yeah, and then from here we can just do that, so that we can just try and make this, we can try to add some borders to it like that, and then we see how it goes. Then we can come to this guy over here like that, and then we can merge and center so that it comes there like that. And then from here now we can just put a few names here and there and see how best we can help each other. Yeah, then we can have Elisha, we can have Adam, we can have Adam over there, we can have Peter, we can have Messi, we can have Maria, we can have Florence. So sorry that the first one cut, and I hope this one just goes well. Then we can have I've run out of names. We can have Jen and also Jude and also Jude and also Isaac, Mark, and finally we can have a girl. We can search Kondi. We can search Kondi over there. Oh, we still have more. We can say Anna there. We can just put like that, and then we can marks any marks that are convenient with us. We can just plug in those marks. This any one of us can do. The marks are, like I said at first, I'm just getting them from my head because we're just trying to create something ourselves of our own that is going to help us to just play around with the function that is the insert function. So maybe you might be wondering, what is this all for? We're just trying to ensure that we have proper information that we are going to use for the function that we are about to use in a few minutes. Yeah. So I'm just trying to make up numbers so that we can help each other and see that we can do quite a number of things when we are using X. Yeah. So we have those numbers. We can also write something for ICT. We can start with 7, 47, 59, 67, 45, 78, 4. We can also say 96. We can also say 64. We can also say 52. We can also say 43. And we can also say finally, we can give it a 79 and we enter and we're done. Okay, so these are the numbers that we have. These are the numbers that we have. So from here now, we can just have, we can have the sum, we can have the maximum, the minimum, and whatnot. So we can have all those numbers, and let's now see how we can use the insert function. So right now, I just want to have that box over there highlighted. Then I can also come to the home tab again and make it bold. I can make it bold like that. Yeah. And then from there, I can come there and say, and total, and say total over there. And I can say average. I can say average, and I also say max, and I can say mean. Yeah. So max, total, average, and mean. So we're going to find the total, we're going to find the average of all these numbers, the max of all these numbers, and the mean of all these numbers. And among others, we can also say, we can find even the sum. Is it necessary to find the sum of these numbers? I'm going to say that we can add something else here where we can have the sum of all these numbers. So let me just try and add something else here and see if we can just leave some small space, a box that is going to help us to have numbers or space in case we want to add or subtract or do any other thing. This is clear where the numbers have come from up to now. So like we can add anything like say sum here, sum, and we can say anyway, we're going to leave these boxes open. We'll add what we want. Yeah, so Mary, so we're going to find the mini for all these, who got the mini for this, the mini for this, the mini for that, and the max, and we're going to find the sum also and the average for all these, and we're going to find the total, which is just like the sum. So to start, we're going to, what we do to start, since we already have our numbers here, we're going to do that. And then after that, we're going to come to the home. We're going to come to the formula tab, insert over there. And then we're going to say the first thing that we want is total, right? So this is the mistake that I've made. So what you do is each and every where you want your answer to be is where you put the equal sign. So you say total over there. That's where you put that's where you highlight. That's where you put your cursor, where you want the answer to go. And then you come to the file. Sorry, not the file, but rather the okay, this is highlighted. You come to the formulas. After you come to the formulas, then you say insert. After you insert, we've said we want a sum, which is a total addition. And then we can go, we find the sum, it's there. And then we say, okay. After you say, okay, it's telling us B5 and B16. So B5 and B16. B5 to B16 is what we want, all those numbers. So that is very true. That's what we want. It has automatically given us what we need. So because it has automatically given us, we can just say, okay, and find the total over there, which we get. So we can also come to the next box and do the very same thing for us to find the total, insert, and then you come to sum is what you want. You say go, and then just told us C5 to C16, which is what we want. So C5, C16, these are just the names of, we're using the names of the rows and the columns from what we learned. So it has also given us the total, which we have found over there. Then we can also come here and we can also come there and also come to the insert function, and then you highlight the sum, which is already highlighted. You say okay, and see what it has given us. It has given us D5, which is D5. That's where we are at. And then D16. D16 is the same D up to 16 where there is Anna, our last friend. Then we say, okay, we have all the totals over there. Okay, good. So if you're able to see that, we can now move on to the average. We can move on to the average. How do we get the average of all these? So you highlight where you want your answer to be. You come under the insert, you come here and then you look for average. You say average, to just backspace, and then you can say average. Average. So you write average and then you say go. So you've seen average has come over there. Average is highlighted there. You say okay. Okay. So you've seen they're saying the average of B5 to B17. But you know that you don't want B17. All you want is B5 to B16, the average. So you can just come here and backspace. After you backspace, you can come there and then you highlight. So you can come to your highlight, you can come to B5, you can highlight what you want, and then you highlight up to Anna there. So we're saying B5 and B16, we want to find the average. We know where our answer is going to go. And then from there you say, okay. Then you have your answer over there to be the average. We do the same also for the next box that we have, starting from, so we highlight where we want our answer to go. We come there, we go again and say average is what we want. Let's see what it has given us. It has given us up to D18. It has just said B18. So you have to just come, you backspace what the dialog box is saying. I hope you'll be able to see that. And then you come starting from 90 there, and then you just highlight. Let's come back to 90. No, you do that. You can just come out over there. You do that. You highlight up to where you want to end, which is there. Yeah, where we're ending at Anna, where it's 16, then the average it has given us, then you can do okay. Then that's it. You can also come to the last one, which is ICT, the average of everyone. So meaning that these people passed, yeah, because if the average is 60 point what? So ICT, let's look at ICT. We come there and then we say average again. We say okay. From there we move on. You can see what it has given us. Now it's like it's following has it followed the pattern B18? So we don't want what it has given us. So you rub it off using the dialog box. Then you just highlight what you want. Then you highlight the number of boxes that you want to use in this regard. You just want the ones that have been highlighted right now, which is up to somewhere D16 and D5. Then you come to OK. Then you have the answer over there, which is very good. We can also find the marks. We can also find the marks, and we can also find the mini. So the marks, we are going to find it. You highlight where you want your answer to be. You come to the insert function. Then you find the marks over there, which is the maximum. You say okay. And then from there, you just come there. You just highlight what you want. What we want is to know the marks among all these students who got the maximum among all the students that sat for English. So among those, the marks they're saying that is 94, which is okay. And then you move. You come also to math. You do the same thing, insert. You come to marks again. You say okay. Again, you highlight. You highlight, bearing in mind that you come here, you do that, and then you come to math, you highlight starting from 90 up to where you want to end, like that. What is the max? It's saying it's 90, so you just right click. You also come to the final thing, which is ICT. You want to find who got the maximum, who was the one that got the max, the highest student. You come there. We are saying we need marks again. You do that. You'll rub off what is there. Then you just come to 76. You start highlighting from there. I hope you're able to see my dialog box. I hope you're able to see my dialog box. So I don't know what's okay. Let me just try to highlight it perfectly. And see up to 79 over 6 is the max. Yeah, so we can also find the mini like just the same way that we've been finding. So you highlight where you want it to be, you do that, then you look for mini, and then you just go. And then the mini has come, you say okay, and then you say mini, they're saying 18, they're saying B18 and B19, but that's not what you want. So you just rub it off, and then you come and highlight starting from 50, and then you can drag your cursor up to 94 to know which one is the mini. And they're saying the one that got 30, which is 30 over there. You do the same thing again for math. You come, you insert, you already highlight where you want your answer to be. We want the minimum. You come there, you know that they've not given you the right range, so you just backspace it, and then you highlight the number of cells that you want to work with. The number of cells that you want to work with. So I've overdone, so you can come there, and then you just no. Okay. Yeah, you do that, which I have. Then they're saying that the minimum when it comes to maths was 40. So you do that. You write there, and then you also come to I. So you've seen it becomes very, very easy for you to just get what you are looking for. So you highlight that part, you come to insert function. We are still looking for the mini. So if we had like quite a number, your job or your work would have been made kind of easy, because you are not supposed to start figuring out who is the mini and then doing all those things. You are just gonna do that under Excel, and then you find was 43, 40, and 30. So this is what we have done when we're looking at the insert function. You can use it for so many things, but for now we're just going to end here where this box is. Yeah. So we have that part over there. So this is how you can come up with search when you are using functions. And in this regard, we are using we said we're using Aminet school results, the subjects and names, and these are the things that we have done. So we've looked at functions and how you can find the mark without having to stress your brain, but rather to just use the insert function and use the dialog box to help you find whatsoever that which you're looking for. Yeah. So for now, we are going to end here, and then we are going to see